The Flyers lose this one 3-0 in Tampa. Welcome to Postgame Live, presented by Curado Insurance. Al Morganti, Scott Hartnell, Ashlyn Sullivan back here with you in Philadelphia. The first time the Flyers have been shut out all season. You go from scoring 6 goals at home Saturday night, exciting. You're thinking, all right, they found their offense. Man, not so fast is an understatement.
Yeah, sometimes it's easy, right, Ashlyn? And sometimes it looks really hard. And the Flyers, for 50 minutes tonight, it looked really slow for them. It looked hard to get chances. When they did have chances, a wide open lane for Vasilevskiy, one of the best goaltenders in the NHL, to make those saves. So for me, on the open there too, Delorier's fight after he absolutely manhandled that mutant of a guy.
Huge.
He looks at the bench, he goes, "Wake up!" Right? It took him 50 minutes and not the 10 minutes when that fight happened.
Yeah, it took a long time to wake up, and partly because Tampa just played a terrific game. For as much many people missing from their lineup, they had one line score 8 points. Hagel was terrific, and like you mentioned, if you don't bring your A game against the best goaltender on the planet, or one of the 2 or 3 best goaltenders on the planet, there's not much chance you're going to come out of there with a couple of points or one.
Yes, and that's why Andrei Vasilevskiy is our game changer, brought to you by Sloan Automotive. This is actually the second time in a row that he has shut out the Flyers. He did so as well last season, so he's got their number, Al.
Yeah, he's got a lot of people's number, Ashlyn, and he was good tonight. I mean, although he didn't have the volume of shots, the Flyers had some pressure in kind of in front of him to battle. But he's just such a solid guy, and I think sometimes, Scott, when you see that there's not shots, I think you take a look and it's like, where?
Yeah, no doubt. And that one too on the glove save, just picking cherries, right? He's in position. He's a big goalie, so you have to almost make that perfect shot. But you don't need the perfect shot all the time, right? You need guys there. You need guys battling, and a little luck around, or a bounce or two around that goaltender. And sometimes you got to tip your cap to a guy that's playing well right now, and especially who has a team's number, right? Back-to-back shutouts, like you said, Ashlyn. So they need to be a little bit better next time they play this guy.
Yeah, especially when you look at this road trip, and this is not the way that the Flyers want to start this road trip. And I think you look at so far this season, I think you take the goaltender aside tonight, just inconsistency with this offense, Al. And the number of goals, at first it was really low scoring. It seems like they found a way to click. And then your stars especially didn't show up tonight.
No, they didn't, and they were snuffed out partly by Tampa. But I also, you wonder sometimes, they changed the forecheck system, and then you want everybody up at the blue line to have a wall. There's a lot to digest in what they're doing kind of on the fly here. So sometimes it looks like they're kind of caught in between on what to do, to me anyway.
Yeah, a lot of tinkering, if you will, with how they want to play, how they want to create offense, the forecheck, all that kind of stuff. And when you have you're second guessing yourself where I should be, you're half a step behind, and that's not a great way to play the fastest game on earth, this hockey game. So maybe it'll become second habit, second nature, where you can kind of just go and go and go. But right now, they did look a little bit slow tonight.
Right, especially when you look at the challenge, and Rick Tocchet was honest about this. The Flyers with very limited practice time so far this season, especially when you're on this big road trip to the point where they are working on their offensive system. In morning skate, when you're just supposed to be getting loose, that's when you're working on it. So I think as a whole, it's very much still a work in progress what they want this offense to be.
Yeah, it is, and the other side is not a work in progress. I mean, Cooper's teams have been running out the same stuff for, looks like a generation of players here, and they replace people. And I was impressed. 4 wins in a row for them without a lot of their main cogs in their lineup there. That's a really, really well-coached team there in Tampa.
Yeah, 3 of their best defensemen were out of the lineup, and it didn't look like they missed them at all, right? They were physical. They were taking the Flyers' space away. They were winning a lot of the 50-50 pucks in the corners, be able to create offense. It was going their way, that they were going on the offense. So a lot of chasing by the Flyers. They had a lot of odd man rushes too, which I'm sure Tocchet isn't happy about either.
No, definitely not. An impressive win for the Tampa Bay Lightning as the Flyers get shut out by them 3-0. Let's now go back down to Tampa to hear from Sean Couturier in the Flyers locker room.
Obviously one of those frustrating ones tonight. What was Tampa doing that was causing you guys problems there? It seemed like clogging the neutral zone and just making it difficult to make plays.
Yeah, I think it was a tight check game. Not many shots both sides. The difference I think was our line's been inconsistent without the puck. So we need to be better. We cost 2 goals tonight, and that was the difference.
How hard is it after coming off a game that was such a high event game to something that seems a little more low event?
What's that?
How hard is it to find maybe a rhythm after a game like you played against the Devils to come into a game where there wasn't much room out there?
I mean, it doesn't matter who we play, what kind of game we play. got to be ready to play any kind of game and find ways to win. We have since the start of the year, battled our way back, but tonight we weren't able.
When you're in a situation like that, when you're not getting a whole lot, is it just a matter of you're trying not to force things? Is that what it kind of comes down to in a game like this?
Yeah, I think it's sticking together. Keep fighting, keep sticking to the plan. Wait for our opportunities, not open up the play, the game, and I think that's kind of what their top guys are looking for. So I thought overall, it sucks we couldn't score, but we didn't give them a whole lot either.
Rick was talking a lot about not backing in when the team's pressing. Do you feel like maybe their speed a little bit kind of caused you guys to collapse a little bit?
Yeah, they had a few. Like I said, I think it's really. I'll take the blame for this one. Our line wasn't good without the puck. They had some on-man rushes on us, but other than that, I thought the other lines were going. It was a tight check game, not much going on both sides. Those are the games that got to find a way to win, and sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't.
You hear the accountability there from Captain Couturier pointing out that his line really was the one at fault for those 2 goals, and you hear him on that. But overall, when you see that no goals are scored, I think that's what everyone is going to blame here tonight.
Yeah, they'll look at the lack of offense, but against Tampa, you have a line that's struggled a little bit defensively, and he's a great defensive forward. That's just Tampa at home, taking advantage here, coming in, doing what they do best. Like any small mistake you make, they just jump on it.
Yeah, especially I think he was talking about the second goal, the Cirelli goal, the 3-on-2. Guy jumps in when he should be coming out and just live to fight another day. It was 1-0 at that point. You don't have your game. You're not playing your best right now. You got to play good defense, but you can't take a chance going into the zone like that. They come 3 versus 2. They make a good play. Don't get me wrong, but that's what Coots was talking about.
Yeah. The Flyers.
It sets up your defensemen to take sometimes, your forwards, they bite the dust and the dirt ends up in the defenseman's mouth when the forwards jump in. And that's what happened on a couple of those plays.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. It's time for our electrifying moment brought to you by your local Tri-State Toyota dealers. You look at the first goal here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, scored by Hagel. Really all they needed, Scott.
Yeah, just a lot of speed. This guy was a hound tonight, Brandon Hagel. He was all over the place, carrying that one in, lugging the mail, and then going to the front of the net off his, I guess, shaft of his stick, or maybe shin pad. I'm not sure what it looked like, but that's a big-time play there.
It is there, and there's Andrei in front, so he's got to get position right there to get past the goaltender.
Yeah, no doubt, and this is a bomb right in the middle of the ice there. Bobby Brink tries to block that one, end up screening his goaltender, a nice tip in.
Yeah, you can see the frustration for Couturier on that goal. That's what he was talking about, being on the ice.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and you look at here as it's time for our Thrill of the Game, brought to you by Universal Theme Parks, the exhibition at the Franklin Institute. The Flyers' chances here, when you look at this, it's almost like it's too late at times, Al. And I know that they always get caught up in this. It's like, okay, if we start faster. So you see this push in the third period, you're like, okay, great, here it comes. But look, it sometimes just runs out.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Have a goaltender like that to kind of preserve everything for you. And a lot of times when this happens, Ashton, it's like, okay, 4-on-4. You're kind of forced to open things up. Until you're forced to, you kind of want to play that safer game.
Yeah, no doubt. If they start the game like this, I think this is a way different ball game, right? You're going to get 3-4 goals, probably that one too. Just some bad luck there for Tyson Foerster, right in front of the goaltender. Goaltender's down and out on the other side of the net, and you end up hitting a guy that's not even trying to block the shot.
Flyers' chances as a whole, you see them pushing, you see them trying, but a little too late in this game as they lose this one 3-0 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. And now let's go back to Tampa to hear from Jamie Drysdale in the Flyers locker room.
That's a team over there that's got a lot of offensive weapons, a lot of speed. Did you guys feel like you kept them limited in their chances, even though they do get the 2 goals there?
I think they had a few more chances than we would like. They're dangerous. I think they have a few players over there that, with time and space, just can be extremely dangerous, and they were tonight. So, we could have limited them a little bit more, for sure.
Sorry, Jamie. Do you feel like on the 2 goals, maybe they were using their speed a little bit to kind of push you back? Because Rick's talked a lot about maybe you guys are backing in a little too much, and it was good the last couple of games, but they brought a lot of speed, it looked like.
Yeah, they did. I think it takes a 5-man unit on the ice to allow us to play that way. So they came with speed right from the gate and definitely pushed us back a little bit for sure. You know, a few odd man rushes here and there, and yeah, they played faster than us, and they were the better team tonight.
Was this the night where they were making it tough for you guys to move through the neutral zone, trying to kind of get the things going that you wanted to get going?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's all things that we can change within this locker room. You know, I don't think anyone's, you know, panicking over that game, but we definitely know we can play better, be better, and we will be next game. So, you know, kind of just learn from it, put it behind us, and get ready for Florida.
Do you feel like you guys were stepped up a little bit more in the second period? It seemed like there was a little bit of a shift in the momentum, more towards tilting more of the offensive way for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's all situational. It's all dependent. You got to make a lot of hockey reads and hockey plays, but yeah, you know, obviously it was a point of emphasis after the first period with the odd man rushes that they had, and you know, for the most part, you know, in the second, we built on it, but still a few too many. So we'll learn, we'll build, we'll be better, and come back against Florida and play a good game.
We are back with our GMC Performance Player of the Game, Sam Ersson, getting the start over Dan Vladar in this game, letting up 3 goals, at times making big key saves and not getting a lot of help here from his offense, Scott, which is tough.
Yeah, no, he definitely kept the Flyers in this game, right? A bunch of chances there, you know, the first half of the game by the Tampa Bay Lightning, especially a few odd man rushes, right, where he's able to make those saves. And you know, unfortunately, you don't get any run support, you're not going to get any wins, really.
Yeah, we just heard the interview with him, and you don't often hear him frustrated, but I often wonder when I've been there, asked the question, you're asking a goaltender and the team didn't score any goals, and there's not much to be a good teammate that you can say, but the honest answer is, hey, we didn't get any goals.
Doing my best out here.
Really, and that's basically. I mean, I thought he played fine. For you know, that's a good side, and he was pretty right on mark that they didn't take the unnecessary chances.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating for Sam Ersson and the Flyers as they get shut out in this game in the Tampa Bay Lightning. As we go back to Tampa to hear from Rick Tocchet.
Those frustrating games where their defensive play is making it difficult for you guys to get a whole lot going. Is that kind of the way you saw it in the neutral zone, just kind of tough getting through there tonight?
No, there was plays to be made. We just didn't make them. Their best players won them the game. Sorelli was awesome. Hagel, you know, Kucherov. And when we had chances, when we did shoot, we didn't have anybody at the net. So there were plays to be made. We just didn't, bottom line.
You've talked a lot about backing in and having your defense back in and the 5-man unit even backing in. Fair to say on those goals, that was what happened.
There's so many odd-man rushes. That's not on the D. The second period, we had 8 odd-man rushes. That's on the forwards. So that's not on the D. We have to have some guys commit to being above their you know, when you have those type of talented players on this, you have to be above. So, yeah, you stand up when you have numbers. We didn't have numbers because a couple of guys were diving in.
And you have, you know, obviously some speed over there. Was that a factor dealing with that?
Well, like I said, Hagel and those guys, they go when they get the puck. I saw it, the Four Nations, they fly, and it's good. It's good for our players to watch these guys under pressure and how they play.
Is that a takeaway from this? Is that, you know, you go through this once, you learn from it, you know, you should, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you learn from that stuff. Yeah, you hope you learn. I mean, you got it right, but you know, there was more out there. I wish we had a few guys had more, but like I said, it's you know, they deserve the game. I know it was 18 shots each.
Yeah, something like that.
But you know, I thought Ersson was good. I thought he was good tonight.
Is that good to see? I mean, he hasn't played in a while. To see the saves he was making tonight.
Yeah, for sure. That was good. You know, hasn't played in a week. To see him do that effort, it's good. Good for him. Okay.
Well, you hear Rick Tocchet there. More plays being made, more opportunities, and you look at the odd man rushes. He mentioned 8 in the second period. Looking at the forwards there for diving, which is something he has definitely said a good bit this season, as he wants to see that stop on the game.
Yeah, especially when you got the speed and the talent that they were diving in against, right? A little chip or a little pass, give and go, they're gone, right? And you saw how fast they were. The passes were on the tape, they were executing, and yeah, you're not going to win too many games when they have 8 odd man rushes in one period and the finishers that they have.
Yeah, and the best part of that to me is before you heard from the coach, you heard Couturier basically tell you, it's on us, the forwards, and we saw the defensemen sliding through because the forwards were back up ice. And so, you don't want to say it's good, but it's a good sign when before the coach has even said anything, the captain is condemning himself and his line mates there that we just didn't play well
Yeah,
enough.
you know when you're playing good, you
Yeah,
know when you're not
yeah.
playing good, you know when you miss your check, so they don't need to watch
Yeah.
the tape to be like, oh, look, I dove into this play, 3-on-2 the other way, and they score. So they just got to correct it. They got to know when they're playing bad, like you said, you got to realize it. You're playing a good team, Florida, in a couple days, so you got to get things figured out.
Right, and I think the most frustrating thing there for Rick Tocchet, and that's definitely the most frustrated I've seen him so far this season, along with Sean Couturier in the locker room, is because this is something he has been preaching all season long. Is he talked about it with cheating a couple of games ago, where you're diving and you're trying to cheat on certain plays, and I can tell at this point he's like, I've said it so many times at this point.
Yeah, and there's different kinds of cheating. I think previously it had been the cheating when you was Michkov looking at to blow the zone, basically. This is a different kind of cheating here, where you're deeper in and you just have no rear view mirror on.
And it was 1-0 at that time, right?
Exactly.
Not the time to cheat, not the time to dive in, and they know when they're screwing up. The players do, so they don't need to be told. They don't need to have the film. I'm sure they will watch some film on that stuff, right, to correct it, make everyone aware of it, right? Somebody's mistake, everyone can learn from that mistake, and that's what you got to do. That's what good teams do moving forward.
Yes, a frustrating game for the Flyers. They are shut out in Tampa